regardless, keep showing up. Show up for yourself, show up for your family, show up for your friends. Make those show up for yourself now so you don't have to struggle to show up for yourself later, right? Show up. Oh, that sounds good. Show up for yourself now so that you don't have to struggle to think about showing up later. You don't want to be at 65, at 70, and then that's when you're working. No, that is not. Right now, show up for yourself. Welcome, welcome, and we will be connect. We'll be starting in minutes. So thank you all for joining. Shanti Eyes, welcome. Let me know where you're connecting from. I am here in Texas, United States. So you'll be catching me here Central Time at 12 noon, thereabouts. That's when you will catch me. And I basically, if you're new here, you haven't been here. I think Shanti has been here before. New York, welcome, my New Yorker. I believe I've seen your name before. Welcome again. Welcome, welcome. It's beautiful having you here. It's really, really beautiful. And today we're talking about something. Ask me any questions. Yes, I remember you. Yes, welcome. It's so good to have you, and thanks for stopping by. Again, thank you for sharing the live, and thank you so much for all of the likes. Really, it helps because then some more people will be able to. Or they say that the algorithm will push this community into some other, push it to the FYP, and then you have more people. What does that do? We are basically helping others. It's also a way of you paying it forwards, blessing other people to come learn because there's a lot of huge source and resources here. So thank you all for sharing the live, and thank you for also tapping and is it tapping or the liking, right? For all of the hats. That really helps. Okay. So today, the goal here is ultimately we are growing a community of millionaires. That's period. If there's anything you want to get from here, a community of millionaires is what we are growing in here. So, and if you follow the principle, I have done it. Okay. I'm saying that if I have to start it again, I am bringing not just one, not just two, not just three people. I am bringing as many people that I know because millionaires are not made from another planet, as against what the community or the society makes us think. Millionaires are not made from another planet. They are from this planet and they are average people, okay? The only difference between you or myself or another person is the only difference is some people have gotten the knowledge. Some people already have that financial literacy, right? And some people do not. I mean, because not we were not taught that in school. Nobody teaches it in school. They only teach us how to earn, but how to grow wealth, how to build wealth. Nobody, it's never taught in school. I can guarantee that because I also have an high schooler, which I'm saying that okay, what are you taught? What are you taught? So I do know, and I've seen people. So on the street of social media now, we're trying to get as many people to get a lot of education, right? A balanced education such that they know this. So if you are just joining, consider subscribing, so consider following because we're building a millionaire community. And like I have it on the board. So we would start the class very soon. Personal finance, thank you for joining. Let me know where you are connecting from. So good to have each and every one of us. Feel free to ask me question at all, while we're starting, but the class is going to start in a minute. So we're going to all lock in a minute because today we're going to be talking about the path to millionaires. So I'm not, so if you're just meeting me for the first time, I'm a doctor of business and technology. Um, Day job is vice president of technology, and I'm a serial investor. So I deal in, I'll tell you exactly step by step, and that's what we're going to be talking about. I'm going to be telling you why. A lot of times, a lot of us have been brainwashed that making money is bad. Money doesn't bring happiness. All of those myths that we're always talking about. Wealth is money. These are things that they have used to brainwash a lot of people such that it ends up that we're like, okay, when we talk about personal finance or when we talk about money, it's almost like look like it's a bad thing. The love of money is the root of evil, right? All of that. Absolutely. But the part of it is that why should you create wealth, right? Why should you create wealth, right? Here, why should you create wealth for us? And I'm going to, if only I can find my pen because we're going straight into class. Um, Consider sharing the life. If you can share, share with your, and if you're new in on TikTok, just press my forehead here. I never knew all of that before. I'm not in a social media person up until recently. So they told me touch the forehead, then it's going to come with your contact. Then you share it out to the people within your contact. So if you also care, please share. Let me know where you're connecting from. I am connecting from Texas in the United States, and I'm here 12:30 lunchtime, just to talk about this, so create education so that we can build a community that is building when ending the paycheck to paycheck cycle, right? Those are things that we talk about. So consider subscribing, consider following, consider, please type out the, or how do I, what do they call it, you know, like the like as much as possible, because that would help this to push the algorithm to push to more people, and through that you are blessing others. Okay, so we'll go straight into it today. Okay, and the first thing, why should you create wealth? Why? I mean, why? Because I always say, what it starts with the why, and it starts with the mindset. Okay, what the mindset is very key. If you can, we're talking about millionaire, right? Some people would say, right, it's not possible. It's not even possible. She's just going to play games, or she's just going to sell one product. No, I'm not here to sell any product. I'm not. I'm just here sharing my experiences, sharing knowledge that I've learned in the books, and sharing the knowledge that I am also using or I've used. Ladima, welcome here, and every other person. Shalima, welcome here, and thank you for sharing the life, and thank you all for all of the likes. So that you can push all this, you can push this to more people. And if you haven't subscribed, if you haven't followed, consider doing that. There's so many resources. I always say, before you even go buy anything, pay for mentorship or buy any resources, first of all, look for free resources, utilize them before you say that you're going to buy a bulk, you're going to do mentorship, and you're going to be spending your money. That is also part of financial literacy and common sense finance, right? So use free resources that you have. So let's go straight into it. Why should we even be in a millionaire status? Why should you even consider having money? Okay, why should you do it? I call it I call it four things, right? I break it into four things, and basically it simply means to me, a lot of time when we say wealth, some people would think, they say that it's not just some people. The myth is money is wealth, but that's not true. Wealth is we have four types of wealth. In, from my research, we have four types of wealth. Number one, of course, is money. Okay, money is the first type of wealth that everybody talks about. So your income, your skill that give you. I mean, we would have done like 4 hours, 5 hours today, depending on your shift. You have traded your time for money. That is some form of money, right? Investing, saving, all of that. That is money. Okay, that is. And should you do it? Yes, you should want to have money. Why? Because you have bills, you have family, you want to live a decent life. You want to, even if you don't, aside from the fact that you have bills, you also want to fulfill purpose. You want to be able to bless others, right? If I'm not in a good place, right? If I'm not in a good space mentally, there's no way I can be sharing this, right? If I have bills that are pending, or I have rent, I'm going through eviction, I'm not even going to be sitting here to even say I'm going to add value or impact others, right? So money, definitely, money is key. Yes. Does money buy happiness? That's another story. Okay. Now, two is what? All right. Two is the peace wealth, right? You want to have financial peace. What does this simply mean? Financial peace simply means that, okay, some of us will go to work and you're like, oh, what's going to happen? Is my key card going to work this time? Is it not going to work this time? Those are things that come up, right? That is lack of financial peace. But if you have your emergency fund, you have insurance, like we know that we're going to live long, right? But you have insurance, just like, okay, if anything happens, you know that you are good, right? You know your family is good. Health insurance is good. Auto insurance is good. All of those kind of things gives you peace. Trust, right? That's another level. Having trust in place all of those kind of things are the things that it's also very important. It's a form of, even though it's not directly money, it just gives you peace, wealth. It's called peace wealth, so to speak, right? Is this, it's safety net, security, protection. You just being able to sleep with your two eyes closed, okay? And then the third one that I talk about is health wealth, right? Believe it or not, they say that health is wealth, right? Health is wealth. And the best of the healthcare, chances are that they are almost very expensive, right? So you need the money, right? Money also translates to that. But the other part of this health is that you are eating right, you are exercising, you are managing your mental health. All of that is what it is, another form of wealth. So that is the other part of wealth. Then there's the number four. What's number four? It's time wealth. Remember, you have given your time today. 4 hours, 5 hours. I'm going to literally just spend like 2 hours here. That is time wealth. Time is money. Okay? Time is basically money. And if in itself, you trading your time for money, think about it. 4 hours that or 5 hours that you have spent today working, somebody was going to pay you by tomorrow or by next or by the end of the month. They would that time you have traded it. Remember, today is the 25th or 24th, right? Between this time, it's already gone. You cannot get it back. The only thing that you have done with that time is look at a computer, or you're working for somebody and the person is going to pay you back, give you money in return. Okay, that's what you're going to get, right? So it leads to, so the why should you have money? First of all, it's because of this. I mean, why should you even want to? Because if you if you if you have this millionaire status, you are able to do one or two things. You're able to realize that, okay, you know what, what can I do? Can I make my money work for me instead of me doing this job? Right? Can I make my money replace me as the 4 hours that you have done today? Can I generate something, right? Can I generate something in place of that? Can my money do the work? Okay. So think about it. Okay, let's assume that you earn $10,000 and a month, for instance. What else can replace me doing that job, giving me that $10,000? That is what it means by making your money work harder than you do. Just imagine you that money that income that you're getting from this job right now. Imagine you being on one private island, drinking coffee, whatever, wine, but then you're still generating that wealth. See, that's the opportunity cost. That's time wealth, ability to live life at your own terms, right? That's why it is very important. And that's what is financial freedom. Renee, welcome. Thank you all for sharing the life and all. Thank you for the likes. So we have established this. One thing that I want to say though, okay? If your goal is the goal of having becoming a millionaire or becoming to have money is just to oppress others, you want to oppress others, you want to show off, then you're not going, it's not going to be fulfillment, and then you won't even be able to achieve that status. You know what? Because you will keep oppressing others, or you're trying to impress others. Two things, these are two red flags: impress and oppress, right? If you are trying to chase money to impress and oppress others, chances are that you reaching this millionaire status is very, very difficult, because the time that you have been, they're supposed to be focused on actually growing wealth, you are focused on impressing others. So instead of you to follow the vehicle or to have the money that would help you to put it in the right places to get into this status, you won't be able to get there, because you are busy doing what? Oppressing others, impressing others. So this is all about mindset. We need to first of all have the mindset shift, because I always say that if your mind cannot conceive it, there's no way there's no way you can achieve it. Your mind needs to conceive it or imagine it or see it for you to be able to achieve it. Okay. So take note of that. All right. Because you would see why this part is very important shortly. Okay, so thank you all for sharing the life, and thank you all for all of the likes. Okay, thank you all for that. So basically, having said that, I want to go straight into it. Like, now we have established why. Now let's go into the how, right? The how, and then we'll go into what, and then we'll go into the other part of the what. So I call the how, I call it the four pillars, right? That's what I call it, the four pillars of making wealth. Bukola Kings, welcome here. I call it the four pillars. Now, the four pillars of making wealth is what? Let's do this. The number one is what? High yield savings account. That's the first thing. What is double? Welcome back here, Bismarck. Welcome. The first thing is high yield savings account. Having said this, okay. No, that's not even the first thing. What am I saying? The first thing is your skill. Your skill is the first thing, right? Because except you happen to be get an inheritance or you win a lottery or something, your bills, your expenses would definitely first of all start from where? It starts from, and let me bring it closer so that we can see. Your skill set definitely come your income definitely come from a skill set. So you probably have, you went to college, you were a good kid, or you learn a trade, or you did learn HVAC or whatever, like what our parents told us. Go to school, be good in school, and of course your everything is going to work out. Get a good job and it's you become a millionaire. That's what they say, right? But how is that working? Right? How is that working? I guess everybody is probably just even upset right now that, okay, I don't think that is working, right? So what do we do instead? So your income is the first thing, right? And for your income, I always say that you want to focus on what? The first thing is your income. Try to, in everything that you do, you want to be improving yourself every single time. Okay. Two things that you can do. You want two things I would do, or in this community, we as a community, two things that we do is we ensure that we are always improving ourselves. How do you improve yourself? What are the skill sets that you can, additional skill set that you can take? Right? You can take a certain certification. You can get another streams of income. And if you're new here, again, I'm Dr. Lina. I'm a doctor of business and technology. I help professionals build wealth, build lasting wealth through smart ways of investing that it's almost like you are not going to be losing your money. That's what we do here. Okay, that's what I talk about. Okay, the goal is that in 10 years, if you are just starting, you are in a millionaire, you become a millionaire in 10 years with the strategies that I follow, that we follow. Okay, so thank you for sharing the life, and thank you all for all of the likes. Okay, so income is the first thing. And of course, when I say income, Silver, welcome. When I say income, what does that we need to constantly be saying, how can we improve ourselves? How can we improve ourselves? Thank you for the daily at me, Silver. Welcome here. So what are the basic income? How can you increase this income? How can you get it better on a daily basis? Fatima, welcome. How can you get it better on a daily basis? Number one that I would say is always look for, how can you, what other skill set can you get? Or how can you improve your skill set without having to break the bank, right? Without having to take another college loan, okay? Take a certification. Always think about some certification that you can take, and some of them are free. On Coursera, you will find free certification. On what's it called? Harvard Business School, you will find free certifications there. There's so many free certifications online that you can actually leverage. Okay, so that is the part of income. Another thing that we also want to push is multiple streams of income, right? You probably would have heard one income is almost close to like no income, because it means that if that income is not there, you are. basically incomeless, right? And we don't want that to be our own case. So we always have to have financial peace, just to always have multiple streams of income. Okay. And what does that mean? Simple. It could be as simple as you having your car, rent it out. You have a room in your house, you rent a room out and use it for short-term rentals. You can be as big as, okay, Chanel, welcome. You can be as big as, you know what, I want to use this as a you can buy a rental property. You can actually take your money and you invest it and it's getting dividends for you, or the money is simply growing. Okay, you can invest in businesses. There's so many, you can sell ebooks. There's a skill set right now that your employer is paying you for. That particular skill set, you can utilize it and use it, write a book on it, and of course that would help you to build another stream of income. The goal is multiple streams of income. Multiple streams of income. Increase your skills. So two things on the income side: multiple streams of income, and always think of how you can get an additional skill at zero, or at minimal, free to, very low cost, just to improve yourself, such that you can always increase, in such a way for you to increase your income. Okay, so that is income, right? But you can get this income, right? But if your expenses, right, the expenses, if your expenses, there are two things. If your income is high and your expenses is equals your expense, your income equals your expense, you cannot get to the status that we're talking about, right? Because always think about it. It's about income here, expense here. The difference between the two is what is going to get you here. Because remember, your expense is your daily living. It feeds your lifestyle on a daily basis. It's what, it's something that you're running on a daily basis, like, and it's gone. But if your income is equal to your expense, it means that you have nothing left, right? Nothing left. Zero plus zero is zero, right? Or zero, you make 200,000, right? And of course, your expense is 190,000. You're broke. That's in simple fact. That is, recipe for brokenness. I mean, it's not recipe, it is brokenness. That's what it is. Even though you're earning high. Somebody that is earning 100,000, but the lifestyle is at 60,000, and the person say 40,000, right? That person is not broke, but you with 200,000. So always think about it. It's not about how much you earn. Why how much you earn helps you, right? But it's how much you can keep. How much you keep is what really gets you there. Thank you all for all of the likes, and thank you for all the sharing to others so that they can also be a part of us. Okay. So saying that, we need to make sure that we are ensuring that your let me see 1 second. You're ensuring that your expense is lower. It's lower, not equal, lower than your yes, your income. Oh, no, no, no. Your income, right, is greater than your expense. Basically, your income is greater than your expense, and it should be by far greater. It should be by far greater. Okay, right. And what does this mean? You are earning, let's say you are earning 150,000. Let your expense should be like 80,000, 100,000, 70,000. Then you're in a good space, like almost like a 50% at most. Your expense is at a 60%. So you have the buffer room of 40. Now, this simple thing, a lot of times, the reason, right, why we cannot do that 40%, 60% and have this 40%, or our expenses it cannot be like at 60% or 50%. It's because we're trying to impress others. We're trying to oppress others. And this is very, very common with uh, professionals, high income individuals. You see people that are very, they're earning 200,000, 300,000. and then you'll be like, okay, one single change or turnover on the job, they can't even maintain that lifestyle again. That's because they are trying to impress others. It's not because they need that thing. Their friend, they're riding a nice Audi car, right? That is 3 years old, right? 4 years old. Then their friend goes to buy a Mercedes. And then they think that, oh, you know what? Now I need to buy a Mercedes. I need to drop the Audi. You forgot that that Audi has already, the value has really gone down. Now you're starting, you have almost paid off that Audi, right? But then you went ahead and go for Mercedes, and then you're not going to. You say, "Oh, and you know what? I have to remove the bag on it, the nylon on it, and all of those things." And shh, it's okay. I totally I love it. It's beautiful, right? However, if your goal is to impress others, you're doing it because of your friend. You're not doing it for yourself. If you're doing it for yourself, absolutely. Absolutely. And I know that that's a very table that, nobody wants to get it. So having said that, income is the first thing. Now let's go to the second thing. Now, if you are able to have your income and your expense, right? You're able to have your income and your expense, you have it, your income is greater and you have like 50%. So this difference is like 50%. Amazing, right? Shemi Talks Money, welcome, welcome, and thank you all for sharing the live. And of course, thank you so much for all of the likes, right? So let's assume that ideally 50% is what you now save, right? That is your savings. Your income, so put your income, right? Think about your income and then think about your expense. Now look at the difference. 50% of you, how much does that mean to you, right? Put it there. And then you take it. It goes to the second thing. I call it high yield savings account. Here, what do you put here? So this income is part of your money wealth. This income, right? And I'll be putting it here. It's going to be high yield savings account. It's going to be part of your peace wealth. That is your peace wealth. What is in this bracket? Leech, thank you for coming. And Shema, thank you all for sharing the live. And thank you all for the for all of the likes. Appreciate it. Welcome, welcome. Silver, thank you for sharing the live, and thank you for all of the likes. IU savings account. Why is this one important? We've established why the income and expense is important and how it should be structured. 50%. 50%. It might be difficult, but aim to as you're getting salary increases and all of that. Okay. The second thing that you want to do is IU savings account. IU savings account, and I call it the peace well because your emergency fund for at least 1 month should be there. What does this give you? It gives you financial peace. It gives you peace of mind that let's assume this income that is here, for some reason, something happens, it's not there. Okay. First of all, we have already said we should have multiple stream of income. For some reason, one of the major stream is not there, and you can still take care of yourself and your family while you're trying everything possible to get yourself together. We built good skills. We are building skills every single day, right? Building new skills. So we know that we put our resume back on the market. We're going to get a job within 1 month, right? But you will not be in a good mental state, which also impacts your health wealth. You will not be in a good mental state if, for instance, you're thinking that, okay, you know what? My rent, I cannot pay my rent next month. Eviction is around the corner, or food. You cannot think. So, and what is an emergency fund? Emergency fund is simply four things, right? Basic needs, not wants. Basic needs, it means your rent or your mortgage, your groceries, which is food, all right, clothing or food. And the other part of it is, of course, you have to pay utilities. You need to keep it on. You need to get the HVAC, AC on. You need to have that. And of course, lastly, because you are still going to, if you're going to be getting other stream, you want your car. You don't want your car to be repossessed, for instance, if you still have car notes. And if you don't even use a car, you use a bus pass, right? you want to still be able to have bus pass to be able to go and look for the next job, right? So that is your emergency fund. Remember, here I did not put all those big bags. I did not put all those big purses. Those are not important, right? Those will not keep your life together, right? Nobody is even going to be thinking about that. So how you savings account, and why do you put? And it's 1 month. You start with 1 month first, right? And here, what do you put in there, right? Reason why this will give you 3 to 5% return. Every dollar in this in our community, every dollar must be put to work, because this money is just going to be sitting there just as it is for emergency purpose. That's what it is. And where can you get all these emergency funds? I mean, I use service account. Just Google. Let Google be your friend. I always say that, do not, whatever, trust but verify, right? Whatever I say or whatever you find on this social media space, always verify before you start implementing it. Go on Google or ChatGPT and check the what's it called, the most the IU savings, top for IU savings account in 2020, February 2026, and figure you see the interest rate, like a capital one will give you 3.3%. I think so far will give you 4%, and the Vero will give you 5%. And what does this mean? But like, okay, it's 5%. It means that if you put 10,000 in your account for 1 year, it gives you how much? It gives you $500. Okay, versus your traditional banks that give you 0.01%. And I call this one investment. That's beginner investing. As a beginner, like a newbie, this is like a no-brainer. Like, don't even think about it. Even if you're not going to do anything, if there's anything you want to take out of this life, is your IU savings account. There's no reason why you should have your money in your Bank of America, in Chase, or in any of those bureaucratic banks in your country. Because I do know that there's some of my community member there from other countries as well. Okay, so IE service account gives you 3 to 5%, and then when you get this 3 to 5%, now we're going to intermediate investing, right? Remember, income first, right? Then we go to IE service account that generates 3 to 5%. So we go to intermediate, okay? Intermediate. Remember, we're talking about how to get to this millionaire status. David Talent, welcome. Thank you for joining. Thank you all for sharing the live, and thank you for all of the likes. So number three, I call it the intermediate investing. What is intermediate investing? We're talking about here. We're talking about stocks. We're talking about ETFs. We're talking about David Talent. Thank you so much for the likes. We're talking about we're talking about ETFs. We're talking about stocks, right? Here, we're not talking about options trading, because what we build here is lasting wealth. And we're here to build a community of people that want to build lasting wealth, people that want to build, you want to grow your wealth in a decent way, that in such a way that in another 10 years, the goal is that you are in the millionaire status in 10 years, 2036, following the steps, okay? Now, we have the intermediate. What is the intermediate? Intermediate simply means uh, we have ETFs. And if you wonder, okay, Dr. Lina, why are you saying ETFs? Why not singular stock? We talk about spreading your risk. There's something called spread of risk. There's something called diversification, right? And why do I do this? I have checked, and somebody, and you can go on and check yourself. You realize that where does the world put their money? The first two that you're going to, if you go on Google right now, go chat GPT. It's number one and number two is what? One is simple ETFs or index funds, right? What are index funds? Index fund is simply a bouquet of stocks, right? And what are stocks? Stocks are a way that you can get ownership or in of a ownership into a company. So, for instance, think about Amazon. Amazon, what does Amazon do? Okay, thank you all for the all of the likes. Thank you for Leach. Thank you for all of the likes, and every other person, and thank you for sharing the life as well. Jackie Pierre, welcome, welcome, welcome. So the other thing is, why do we have the ETFs, right? ETFs basically, it's like you want to own part of Amazon, but at the same time you like Meta, and at the same time you like you like Walmart, you like Sam's Club, you like so many companies. So this is an avenue. ETF is just a bouquet, see, a bouquet, and a bouquet of so many stocks that you can buy at one time. Okay, and that's how you invest, right? This helps you to do what? This helps you to build like an S&P 500, top 500 companies in America. That's S&P 500, top 500 companies in America. You are buying everything that all the stocks that are top 500 in just one purchase. So you have, like, you buy a VOO, or you buy an SPY, or you buy an IVV, any of those three. When you buy it, you are, even though you are invested $50, that $50 is into 500 top companies in America. What does this help you to do? It helps you to spread your risk. So in case there is your $50 that you put in there, you know that, okay, you're not just, in case Amazon decides not to do well, Meta will do well because people are still watching social media, right? If social media is not doing well, um, tech is doing well because everybody is jumping on AI, right? Just think about it that way. So you are having multiple industry come together, right? That's what you're having. Multiple industry come together in one place, right? So when you put down your $50 or you put down your $10,000, you know that, okay, you know what? I am good. All right. I am good because, and these, the other part of it is that it has returned between 8 to 12% in the past 10, 20, 30 years. So you know that, okay, you know what? Your money is guaranteed. Your money, it's definitely, it's almost like you're not going to, the least that you can get is almost like an 8% averagely. But the goal here is for us to ensure that we are building, we are not just taking money, we're putting it and then we are taking out. No, we are putting money, and at the same time we are ensuring that it stays there, it's working for us, right? It's doing all of that, it's staying there for some time, for a decent time, because the goal is what? 10 million. I mean, $1 million. That's where you're. So until you get to that 1 million status, you make sure that, you know what, I am still invested. A lot of times, when people are, I always hear, oh, Dr. Lee, I'm so scared of investing. Yes, I do understand. Hey, Stephanie, welcome, welcome. I'm so scared of investing. Yes, I do. Yeah, welcome. I do understand. But if you keep it simple, right? Keep it simple. You realize that it's as simple. Buy S&P 500. 500 companies, simple as ABC, is return 8 to 12%. How else can it be much, much more easier? So you're almost guaranteed 8 to 12%, right? So, and that is your ETF, right? And thank you all for sharing the live, and of course, thank you all for all of the, what do they call it? All of the likes. Thank you so much for that, because that just helps push this so that we can get more people to this live, and more people can also learn. Thank you for the daily admin, Stephanie. Thank you so much for that. And people wondering what's daily admin. If you find out that, I mean, if you see that these, you love what I'm talking about, or your goal is investing, you want to be a part of this community whereby you are able to learn. You know, when I'm here live, you would be able to learn, and I think it gets to notify you, although somebody said no. But if you want to, I think there's also a way you can also click on the notification bell, so you know when I'm live, and you can always learn from that. Thank you all for tapping the live. But I think the daily admin will help you also push personal finance, investing, all of those things. It will push you to your for you feed. Is that what you call for you feed, right? Yeah, it will push it to you, and then you can be able to learn not just from me, but from others as well. Okay. ETFs, right? ETFs. So the first one that you want to, intermediate investing is S&P 500. Okay, and that is IVVVOOSPY. Okay, and now I had this music that is going on now. I just wanted you guys to listen to it. It's also about setting up a goal and making a plan. Goal is a millionaire status, right? So I always like to listen to it because it just okay. So that's that. The other S&P 500 is one. The other is what's it called? Nasdaq. Okay, 100. Nasdaq 100 is another one. Okay, and this one is basically QQQ, and that's top technology companies in top 100 technology companies in America. That's the other one, and the last one is for dividends, and that's ACHT. And I'm not going to be, except you have any questions specifically on that. I'm not going to. I think I've talked about this multiple times this week. So if you have any questions on that, let me know. Okay. Another thing is that if you're just starting investing, you can also put REIT. REIT is for real estate for ETFs. But basically, intermediate investing is just as simple as this. Simple, okay? Now, these would give you 8 to 12%. The other one will give you 18 to 22%, right? These also gives you cash flow, okay? So those are like things that you want to put your money in. That's where you want to put your money in. And then and you were wondering, for people that are beginner investor, where do I buy this? Can I buy it in the bank? Can I buy it in Bank of America? All of them have their investment but Fabrice, welcome. They have their investment however, however, Vanguard is one place, Fidelity and Schwab's are the three. Okay, Charles Schwab's are the three. Okay, that you can actually use when you're investing. So that's really, and this is how you really invest. This is what I call the like I said, beginner, intermediate, and of course, this is intermediate. Then we go to advanced. And I know, Stephanie, I know we had to talk about your real estate today. Okay, and we'll get to it. Now, how do you, and before I go into the next bracket, we're going to still talk about real estate, which is the last part I'm going to talk about. Now, we have been saving money, okay? We have attended to money well, peace well, wealth well, time well, right? What? How? Because there's always the four F's that also talk about, because I never get to this. And I will quickly run through this. The four F's. The four F, what does it simply mean? The four F simply mean what? Number one, financial literacy, because the F is financial literacy. You being able to get education, get a book and read, listen to this kind of personal finance life. All of that will help you. Financial literacy is the first one. Two is financial planning. All our 401k, okay? All of that, you need to ensure that you are planning for your retirement, you're planning for your present, you're planning for your future, you're planning for your present as well. So vacation money should be your brokerage account, your 401k for your future, your Roth IRA for your future, and of course collect fund for kids, right? Whichever way you want to do it, having UTM, having accounts for the kids, your generation after. Then there's the real estate there. Okay, you know what is also for your present, but also for your future. So there's the financial planning. And then the third one is financial discipline. And I believe I already talked about that. We have to be disciplined because you cannot allow your income to be the same thing as your expense. Income should be lower. Your expense, I mean, the income should be higher. Your expense should be lower. So, like the difference between that is what is going to make you win with money. So, financial discipline is the last one. I mean, is the third one. Then the last one If you're able to achieve, you see everything that we have here. If you're able to achieve this, and of course, with the real estate part, the advanced real estate that we're going to talk about, because that's a beast in itself, right? Is you're going to have what? Financial freedom. And the minute you know what's going to bring about that financial freedom is only going to come when you are in the net, your net worth. I mean, of course, not necessarily. You can be sure that if your net worth is $1 million, right, your chances of you having financial freedom is very high, except your lifestyle is exorbitant, because it basically means that even if you put $1 million in simple ETF that generates 8 to 10% or 12% a year, it means that you can conveniently spend close to like $10,000 every single month. That's what it means. Because 10% of 1 million, right? That's 100,000, right? 12% is 120,000. That is $10,000 every single month. If your status is a millionaire, if you have just 1 million, okay, and you decide to say that, you know what, I'm not going to work for the rest of my life. That I want to be on the island. You will live that life. Thank you all for the likes, and thank you all for sharing. And you see, these steps that I just talked about, your income, keeping it pretty minimal, having it at 50%, your expense, keeping it at 50% of your income, saving it, putting your emergency fund for your financial peace. And of course, your intermediate, like intermediate investing, such as ETFs, simple ETFs. So simple, right? Like I said, I keep keeping it as simple, would get you on a journey there. Okay? Journey there. But you have to have financial literacy, get education, okay? Get plan it. Your future self should also be taken care of. And of course, financial discipline is what is going to help you with this 50%, because you won't care if to oppress anybody or impress anybody. You will not be thinking of that, because of course you are disciplined enough to know that, okay, I would delay gratifying myself. I would focus on my goal of the $1 million. That's what you're going to be focusing. Thank you all for sharing the live, and thank you all for the likes. Okay. Thank you all for the likes. And if you're new here and wondering how do you do like, right, just keep tapping the screen as you're listening to me. I know we are all locked in. Let's just keep tapping the screen. It's free, it doesn't cost you anything. It just helps to push this live to, you see that league that they say, is it here, right? Right there, D3, it just pushes it. And then once we get to a bigger, like a D2 or a whatever, you have more people. And my goal here is to get as many people, carry as many people to that millionaire status, and prove it that millionaires are not created from another planet. With your income, you can become a millionaire. You just need to get the education that comes with it. So, you sharing it or tapping out the life or anything that you do here would help you to, it's also you giving, is it paying it forward? Like I'm doing it right now, you paying it forward, helping others as well. Okay. So, we've said that we talk about the 4 F's, right? And the only thing that is not on this board that we're going to talk about is real estate after, right? Now, and feel free to stop me anytime if you have any question. So this, and you've been wondering, this looks complex, Dr. Lina. How am I going to do this? Yes, I have a blueprint, right? I do have a blueprint. The blueprint for me that I would say is that, you see, it's called the 4 account system, right? 4 account system. What does 4 account system mean? You see, there's 4, 4, 4, 4. Sorry, that's the doctor in me. I'm a doctor of business and technology. So that's the doctor in me, and I'm also a professor. So the 4 account system, what does it mean? To keep it easy for you, and it's your what and how you're going to do it. Number one, every single time you get this income that we have here, right? We said that we're keeping it, your expense is going to be not more than 50%, right? Anytime you get that income as it lands into that Bank of America, Chase, or Wells Fargo, or the bank accounts that you use, right? That account number, that's going to be the first account, right? That you're going to have, your income account. Because And I'll say this, and you can put it in the comment. Have you ever felt like, you know what, I get this paycheck, it came in, but I don't know where it went. I've paid my bills, but you know what, I don't know the. Put in the comment section, if you've ever felt that like that, because I mean, it can never be only me like that. Felt like that years ago, where you just like get that paycheck and you be like, where did this money go, right? Where did it, put in the comment section if you ever, I mean, that's if you care to share, by the way. Just put in there if you ever felt that way, that the paycheck lands and by day 10, you're wondering, what happened? What happened to this money, right? I've not even bought any, put in the comment section. So the first thing is that income, right? It goes into one account, right? And then after you have that income account, this account is what? It's just a distribution center. Distribution. Just think about it that way. That account is just a distribution center. You get your salary, your other income, everything goes into this account. But guess what? This account is going to be distributing it to several places. Several places. So where the first, the second, the place that the first place that is going is what? Your emergency fund, right? Your, and I'll call it your IU savings account, and it's your emergency for at least 1 month. 1 month. What's an emergency fund? Your four walls, your rent, your groceries, your utilities, and of course your transportation. Those are the four basic needs, right? That I did not say that, that bag. Okay, you experience this every month. You need to see where I am adding and subtracting. Yes. So this is great. Instead of you trying to add and subtract, but thank you, Stephanie, for sharing instead of you hiding and sharing, this is going to help you address that, right? And the reason why you feel that way is because you do not give your money structure, right? You do not give your money structure. Money is just sitting there. You are using one account. Your expense goes to that. It's from that account. Income goes there. Expense, everything is just molded up in that account. But when you add this four account system, it's going to give you structure, right? And then you will also be able to, it's going to help you. It's almost like an execution of your budgeting, right? In real life. It's instead of you doing it on paper every single month, this is almost like you do the budgeting one time, and then every single time it just automates and just goes there, and then you now know that, okay, you know what, is either I have to increase my income or I need to reduce my expense. And then I know that, those Amazon purchase, I cannot do it anymore. Those whatever thing, I cannot do it anymore. So emergency fund, because this is very critical. Emergency fund is critical. Live travel, welcome, welcome here. Welcome here. Okay, so emergency fund is critical because if this income, why is it critical? This income, if it's not there, if the income is not there, you can be sure that you can still take care of yourself 1 month, 2 months, or whatever, and then that would help your peace wealth because you have peace of mind. You can sleep with your two eyes closed. You are not worried that HR is walking right beside you and you're having out palpitation. You know that you have gotten skill set. Okay, within 1 month, I'm going to put in and I'm going to get a job, or you have a multiple streams of income. Thank you all for sharing the life one more time, and thank you all for the likes. I know we are all locked in, but let's keep tapping as we are all locked in. Okay, and also share the life to your contacts. So, I use savings account 1 month, right? That's the first thing. That's the second account that you need to have. Two accounts now, your saving, your income account, then your IU savings account for your emergency fund, right? Then number three, the third account that you need to have is your bills account, right? Your bills, and I'll call it your expense account. That's the third account you should have, your expense account. So in this account, you have credit cards tied to this account. So for instance, you have all of your utilities. There's some utilities that requires, I mean, like rent, will not use credit card. It requires maybe an ACH or you need to pay Vasil. That money will be in this account. Your utilities will be in this account. So As your income is coming in, you're doing automation, is going straight into, you already know what your expenses are every single month. It goes into this account. Everything that you, it goes in there. And then the reason why I talk about credit card, why credit card is very important, is because credit card will help you build credit. And one of the strategies that we use, these real estate, because that's what is going to get you to this journey, right? Real estate or business or any of those things are the things that are going to get you to that millionaire status, right? What that credit card is going to, you need the credit, right? I know Dave Ramsey doesn't like this, but we have to do what we got to do, right? Then the second reason why credit card should be, you would need a credit card, is because for safety, right? Peace wealth, for safety. In a situation where there is fraud on your debit card or your account, it takes a long time, or it takes time before they do investigation and your money is locked away, which messes up your account system. But if you use a credit card, if the credit if the fraud is on the card, it's none of your business. It's their business. You're not worried about it. It doesn't bother you in any way. You tell them it's fraud, so it is. Their insurance is going to take care of it. So it is also for safety. Okay? Peace wealth, right? Safety. Okay? So we're going to have the expense account, basically your bills. Here, we are not talking about expensive things. We are not trying to oppress or impress. It's your basic needs, not wants. The wants, put them in the cart and watch them for 48 hours and see if you can still afford it or you still need it. After 48 hours, you know if you still need it or you can still afford it. So your basic need is what is here. Thank you all for joining. And thank you for sharing the life and all of the likes. So expense is the third account that you need to have. Then lastly is what? This last account is the most important of all. All of this is from your for your present day, right? But these, your investment account, and this is divided into three. Like this has a credit card and it has the normal accounts to it. So some of them might have multiple structure to it. This is the most important thing, investment. And a lot of times our focus is on these three. In short, it's on one and two, income and expense. Thank you all for the likes. Thank you, Stephanie, for the likes. It's most of the time it's income and expense. That is the two accounts that we are focused on. If you are focused on these two, what would happen is that you will not have financial peace. Okay? You're going to be stressed, constantly stressed about money. That's what it means by that, right? And then, secondly, you will keep working paycheck to paycheck. You will remain on that hamster wheel in that rat race until even at 65. I see people that are 67 years old, which is pitiable because we're waiting on social security. Social security might not be if chances are that they at the time at their own age is maybe like 20%. So create your own little funds for yourself, for your future. So investment, I call it the most critical part, and that's what is the only one that will help you in this journey to a millionaire. Every other one, it doesn't. These three, it doesn't. Okay. It doesn't. Okay. All right. So, and what are the investment accounts you should open? Number one, you have your 401k, which is the one with the employer from the source, deducted from the source. That's the first one. You do it up until, in this community, we would do it up until what the employer matches. So if your employer matches up to 1%, 2%, 3%, match it. That's free money. We take free money every single time. Okay. The other one that we'll have is Roth IRA if you qualify for it. Roth IRA right now, every single year, it's 7,500. That's how much you can contribute to it. Why is this? Why not put everything in 401k or why not put everything in Roth IRA? 401k, you're getting return on it, right? I mean, you're getting your employer giving you free money, right? Roth IRA, it grows tax free. This doesn't grow tax free. It doesn't, right? Because it is not taxed at source. This is taxed at source, but then if it grows from 100,000 to $1 million, the $1 million is yours, right? So that is why it's important, right? So think about it. It's a wealth engine in itself, right? But these two, they are for your future. That's for your old self, your old self. When you're old and gray, beautiful and gray, that's what it is for. That's why you have to have the first one, because if you try to take money out of this before 59 and a half, you will get penal. You get, I mean, you can take money, is your money, but you get penalties. Okay, we are not losing money. Remember, we are growing money. That's why you have the first third account, which is brokerage account. What is brokerage account? It's still the same, almost the same as the Roth IRA, right? Almost the same thing as the Roth IRA. But then, these you can take the money at any time. But the difference between these two or this is because this one, you're going to pay tax whenever you take money out of it, you're going to pay capital gain tax. So capital CG is going to come out of it. Uncle Sam is going to take some money out of this one. But regardless, I would take increment, because of course the taxes is on the increment. So like, the dividends on, or there's the growth. You put $100, now it's $200. The extra $100 is going to be taxed. Okay, that is capital gain tax to the bracket where you fall in. So, but why is this important? This is where you can put your vacation money, your next project money, all of those growth money. That's what you put it here. This is for your future self. If you can have this, right? You want to now venture into real estate. Yes, this is where you can now invest in this. While you're piling it up, every month is 1,000, 1,000, right? And then it becomes 40,000 or 50,000 for your down payment for your property. Then you can take the money out and you can invest. Positive thinking. Thank you for joining. And thank you all for sharing the life one more time. Let's share the life one more time. Really appreciate that. And of course, thank you all for the likes. If you can get that like still like 2,000 or 5,000, that would be great. I know we are all locked in, but just tapping it away is also a great way to support this community. So brokerage is the other one, right? Having that is very, very crucial. So if you have this account system, remember all these ones are coming from the distribution center, this income. But you are going to be setting up the account that, okay, by day two or by day three, the money is from this account. It's the one for IU savings account is gone there for your emergency fund. The one for the expenses, for your bills and your utilities and your rent and mortgage, it's gone there. And then you have your investment account. You have your 401k taken care of as your older self. You have your Roth IRA taken care of. And of course, you have your brokerage account for your present self. And then if you have extra, trust me, you can splurge. Trust me, you can now take some more and just say, you know what, let me put some more in my brokerage. But what happens most of the time is, and according to Stephanie, that this happens to me every time, right? That you don't understand, where did my money go, right? It's because you do not have that structure. The money just keeps going, go, 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 go. The money always understands something. The money that you don't give structure, that is what they come back. That's what is other people's money. And I'm going to go there. I know people don't want us to go to this. I'm going to really go there. That's when somebody will come, please, I have this problem, right? And it's okay to share, right? It's okay. But that person is, I'm originally from Nigeria. You find situations where who has heard the story where they would say, I'm always giving people money. I give money, people money I give them money. They're always asking me for money. But then I realized that I have not built a house, but they built a for they built a house. Who is familiar with that? Who has heard such stories? Because I keep hearing stories on this street of social media where people would say, the person I'm giving money has already built a house and I don't have mine. Okay, that happens. But if you already have this structure in place, now when you still do all of this, or there's still now some money left. You still have queen, welcome. You still have 10%, you still have 20% left, and of course, also think about your belief and all of that, tithing 1% or 10% or whatever. Do all of that. Make sure that you're taking care of that. But if you still not have things left after, you can decide, you can say that, okay, now the black tax, whenever it comes, i I am going to give out of this. Or if I cannot give out of this, I'm going to wait for we are all going to wait for the next month, for the next paycheck. All right, trust me, there's nobody that is going to come pay your bills in this country. Nobody's coming to save you. No government, no individual, no friends, no family. So when you understand that, all right, and I tell you, I have seen it. Why did I my wife for starting, being on the social media space is because Baja welcome, Hostin welcome. On being on the social media space is I did have 3 evictions last year from good people, good tenants, right? That they've been paying. But guess what? All of a sudden, some things happened last year. Like the economy wasn't at the best last year. And so many people lost their source of income. And because of that, they got evicted. No landlord is paying a mortgage. So really, the landlord still needs to run a business. So even if he allows you 1 month, the second month you are on your way out. So when you understand that, then nobody's coming to save you, then you know that you need to have this 4 account system. And then every other thing can now fall in after. All right. And then you will know not to, we will not be talking about oppressing and impressing others. You're not trying to be like, okay, you're going on vacation just to take picture and oppress people on social media or show people on social media. You're going on vacation because you're trying to take care of your health wealth, your mental state. You're making sure that you are relaxing, you're enjoying yourself. You're doing it for you. Okay, that is for you. It's about you, for you feed, right? Just for you, not any other person. Okay, so that is, like the 4 account system. And feel free if you want to take a picture of it, right? The 4 types of wealth, which is your why: your money wealth, your peace wealth, your health wealth. Not oppressing others, not impressing others, right? That should not be part of your why. Your how: your income, your IO savings account, okay? Your income should be high, your expense should be low. Looking to target 50% in terms of savings. You putting it in an IO savings account for your emergency fund. And of course, I need to mention this. If you have high interest debts, so like credit cards that you are not paying off within the cycle, you want to ensure that you're taking care of that. You don't have any business to go into three, right? You don't have any business here, right? I think we need to even put it here. We need to put it here. High interest debt. That's before, once you get here, high interest debt. That's the next thing. What are high interest debt? Credit cards that are 27%. That 27%, 21%. Personal loans, right? All of those fall into that category. So once you get your high savings account, focus on your high interest rate. Remember, you'll be wondering, so why don't I invest? Why cannot I invest? It defeats the purpose, right? It defeats the purpose. It's almost like it doesn't make sense that you're generating 8 to 12% or 18 to 22% on an ETF, right? On you put $10,000 in ETF, you're generating that. However, you are owing $10,000, you are paying 27%. So you're actually making losses. Does that make sense? Like you are making losses, because simply put, you're almost like you are getting 18% return, which is like, or 22% return, but you have a debt that is 27%. That doesn't make any sense, right? You want to make sure that you take care of your high interest debt. Once you take care of that, then you can go to step three, which is the ETFs that we talked about, right? And how do you pay your credit card debt? And thank you all for all of the taps, and thank you all for sharing the life. I know we are all locked in. Let us, if you can, share the life. And if you're wondering what is, the what do I mean by like it? It just simply means just touch your screen like this. Touch. It's free. It doesn't take anything. Oh, Jordan, welcome again. Welcome, welcome from Indiana. Welcome. So, um, basically you don't. And how do you pay if you're in a situation? Yes, we you have not gotten this education in the past, so you have credit card debt. Things happen, situation happen, there's loss of income, and then you have to fall back on credit. Yes, it's okay. Or you simply do not have financial literacy, and you never knew that you are supposed to pay your credit card within the billing cycle, otherwise, or you were too excited, you were just doing shopping spree, right? Whatever. So, how do you pay it back? Let's talk about that before we go into real estate, and I'll talk about that quickly. Thank you all for all of the likes and for sharing this live, so that some more people can learn this. What's the best way? There are different strategies for you to paying off credit cards, and the three that I will talk about. I'll talk about the last one. I wouldn't. You want to do it only if you are very discipline, right? Financial discipline, right? The first one is the snowball method, right? The second is avalanche method, and the third is debt consolidation, right? The snowball method is pretty popular. It works with trying to your mindset, right? Trying to motivate yourself, trying to encourage yourself. And basically, what does this simply mean? It means that you look at, okay, which one is the smallest of your debt? So maybe you have three cards that you've accumulated, right? Three different cards, and credit cards, by the way, not debit cards. And you hold 1,000 on this one, you owe 5,000 on this one, you owe 10,000 on this one, right? The principle of snowball method says that look for the least one, right? And pay it off. Sheme talks welcome. Look for the what's it called, the least one, the $1,000 credit card that you hold, and start paying that off, right? Pay it off. Pay the minimum on the other two, the one that you owe 5,000, and the one worldwide. Thank you for joining. Pay that. Pay the first one off, that is 1,000. Then on the other ones, pay the minimum balance. Once the 1,000 is done, the account, that one is done, you're not using the card again. It's not like you're still using it. And even if you have to use, you are paying off within the billing cycle, you are now disciplined with it. What that helps you to do is that you get excited and motivated. It's almost like a promotion, right? You get excited to say, okay, you know what, I paid this one off. You'll be excited to go and do the next one. You'll be excited to go and do the next one, right? So that's the principle of snowball method, right? The first one, you pay it off, and then you say, okay, now we take the bigger one, the 5,000. You do it, you're paying the down payment, I mean, the minimum payment due on the 10,000. You're not looking at the interest, you're just basically paying off the minimum balance. That's what you do. And that's how you pay it off. Welcome, engineer. So that is the snowball method, which is pretty good. It helps your mindset. Double welcome. It helps your mindset that, okay, you know what, you're achieving one goal. You're right. And then the second one is avalanche method. So remember, we have the credit card that is 1,000, we have the 5,000, we have 10,000. Avalanche method says that you are and thank you for the likes. Thank you all for the likes, and thank you for sharing the live. Avalanche method says that instead of you paying the least one, look at the one with the highest interest rate. So basically the 1,000, the interest rate is 27%. No, let's say 21%. The 5,000 is 29%, 29.9, I mean 28.99. And then the 10,000 is 25.99. Avalanche method says pay off the you start with the 5,000 because it has the highest interest, right? It's 28.99. That's it. So you start paying that off. That's avalanche method. That's basically it. Ultimately, what that's going to help you is that you're going to pay less in terms of interest compared to any other one, right? That's our avalanche method. The last kind of method is the consolidation, right? Debt consolidation. I always, it's almost like you saying that you see all of the 10,000, 5,000, and 1,000, 16,000, and I take it to another person and say, you know what? Can you finance it at a lower rate, right? Now you get it at a lower rate. They might give you 15%, they might give you 10%, ultimately, but you are also going to get to pay some transfer fees, right? Which is, they could say 2% of the money. So if you are not disciplined with it, with paying off your debt, what's going to happen is that it's just like you are bringing everything, and on top of that, you are paying some fees because it's a flat fees that you're going to be paying. Okay, so you want to be very, very careful when it comes to um when it comes to investing. Like, I mean, when it comes to credit card, choose the one that works best for you. You know, you can start with a lot of times I say start with the snowball method, and then you can gradually now do the first one and gradually start thinking, okay, is the avalanche method, or you want the, debt consolidation. So like I said, you don't have any business in investing if you have high interest debt. You take care of that first, then you go to investing. So, and that is when it comes to, and then we talked about the ETFs. So we're not going to be doing options trading here. We don't do penny stocks, right? Because we are not losing. Ultimately, it's financial peace, right? Our money, we are keeping it, we are protecting it, we're having protection over our money, right? So because of that, we're doing simple ETF where the multi-millionaire, remember, not millionaires, multi-millionaires and the billionaires put their money. You can check on Google, where does the multi-millionaires and billionaires put their money? You would see ETF and the index fund will be the first thing, and that's where Warren Buffett also recommended. And you're wondering, what is ETF? S&P 500, bouquet of funds, top 500 companies, top 100 tech companies, dividends, right? Through SCHD, QQQ, and all of this. And you can take a picture. And you're wondering, how do you invest? Vanguard, Fidelity, Schwab's, okay? And of course, we did talk about the four account system. Financial literacy, financial discipline, financial freedom is going to help you get into that journey. Okay. And I would go, who wants to talk about any question before we move along? Any question at all? It's your time to ask question. I have been talking. It's your time to ask any question. And if you're new here, I'm Dr. Lina. I'm not doctor of medicine, okay? I'm doctor of business and technology. And I do teach, I help professionals, I help you with your income because remember, they teach us how to earn. Of course, that's why you're a professional or you have a particular skill. They teach us how to earn, but they don't teach us how to build lasting wealth. Two different things. Earning money, going doing your job and earning income does not create wealth. It doesn't take you to that journey. What takes you there is what end to paycheck cycle, and that's what keeps a lot of professionals in the paycheck to paycheck cycle, staying on the hamster wheel, working, working, working. It's because I'm God, you God sent. Thank you. You are also God sent for listening. And I really wish that with the small people, really, that are going to, I mean, this life should actually be very full. And that's why I keep saying, let's share. It might just be because I'm just starting, it's still a D3 league. So, because this is information that nobody even taught me. And I was trying to figure it out from different places. And that's how I got into it. I'm like, you know what? It can happen. It can definitely happen. All right. So we've already any question, but thank you so much, Gildan, for that. Any question before, because now we're going to now go to advanced investing. So if you want to take a picture, you can take that picture. Now is your time to take a picture. If you want me to move it around. But ultimately, make sure that you have this four account system. This four account system would definitely help you, right? And of course, you want to open your Vanguard. These are going to be structured. You have golden information that I wish somebody told me 5 years ago when I came into the US. Yeah, thank you. But like I always tell people, you just start wherever you are at, wherever you are at. it's a perfect time, right? It's a perfect time. The only difference between you, somebody that started at 20, and you, somebody that is starting at 40, is because is the only difference is that the person that started at 20 investing would need to probably put chicken change, like put $100, right? But somebody that is starting at 40 might need to put $600. And also remember, and this is what I said. Remember, the people that are in their 20s, they are not earning the chances are they're not earning the income of a person that is in their 40s, right? If you are in your career, you probably would have grown to that level. So you would have more disposable income. However, you also have more responsibility in your 40s or in your 30s. So it's also, but you being intentional about it, it's critical. Being consistent, and this is what this 4 account system is going to help you to do. Consistency, right? It will help you stay consistent. It will bring about automation, because it's not like you are withdrawing those money and you are putting it. No, that's not what I'm teaching. It's automation. Set it up. It's almost like a direct deposit, right? Direct deposit. You're taking it and you're moving it around, right? That's what we're doing. It's the money is landing there. Automation is doing it and pushing it to your high savings account, right? By day, you already put it there. Just like, what are those? Your bills, right? Your light bill, just your energy bill, automatically they pick it up from your account every single month. You don't even have control. Even if you don't have money, remember, you have overdraft. It's none of their business. So that's the same way you want to structure it, such that it's automated. And of course, in your investment account as well, any of this in your investment account, make sure that you also set up the ETFs that you're setting up. Make sure that you set it up automatedly, such that it's buying those ETFs consistently every single time. So you can make sure you can do it like, okay, money comes in on the 30th or on the first, right? By the third, all of the monies are in those accounts, and by the fifth, you're saying that buy ETF, buy QQQ, IVV or VO or whatever. You're setting it up like that, and you set it up one time. It's just like there's some money that you don't see, right? Your taxes, you don't see it. A lot of us don't even know how much we earn, because the taxes is already deducted at the source. So you are confined to a certain amount. Whatever that is left is what you're spending. That's what this is going, the 4 account system is going to help you with. Because now you are confined to what is left after that, right? You've paid back all this, but it's going to give you the financial peace that you need. It's going to even help your mental health. You'll panic less when it comes to finances, because you are taking care of your future. You've taken care of your present. You've taken care of emergency if it happens, and then of course you can splurge. I talk about lifestyle and I talk about money. Thank you for sharing the life, Gaddafi Morok. Welcome, welcome here. Thank you for that. All right. So thank you for sharing the light, and everyone as well. Thank you for all of the likes, and thank you for sharing the light. And you're wondering, how do they share the life? If you're like me, like a month ago, I did not know. Press the forehead on your screen, like my forehead. It's going to pop up your contact, and then you just share from there. That's how you do it. And for the likes, just tap the screen. It costs you nothing. And if you're new here, you like what we do here. Oh yeah, awesome. If you like what you're doing here, consider taking, like the daily admin. It just TikTok will know that this is more like your community, and also turn on your notification bell. I'm still trying to figure it out somewhere here. I think you need to press my name, and then you get notification bell. You know when I'm here. Okay. Um. So awesome. So we have talked about that. So I need to claim. So if you want to take a picture or take a screen print, now is your time, because I'm going to be cleaning up so that we can talk about real estate for another 30 minutes. I'm not going to be going in depth today. Oh, let's see if I have another screen that has real estate, because then I don't need to start writing. Voila, I have not wiped that off. That is great. That is great. That is great. Yes. I thought I wiped it off. So you say that's why it's always good to wipe off things. We can always repurpose. Okay. Now, with everything that I've talked about, we've talked about what four account system, we've talked about brokerage, right? We talked about that. All of those things that we have talked about earlier, your IU savings account, your save, all of that we've talked about, that is your IU savings account is, I call it beginner investing. What does that simply mean? Give you 3 to 5%. And I call it, like a baby stage when we talk about like baby steps, right? In step of child growth, money growth. That simply means you are crawling. When it comes to IU, if you just take your 10,000 and you put it in an IU savings account, or you have 50,000, you put it in an IU savings account, it means you are just crawling when it comes to that journey of the millionaire, right? That's why I always say only your emergency funds is what goes in there. Thank you all for the likes and thank you for sharing, right? Now, the second part is working. What is working? Intermediate, right? Simple ETFs like the S&P 500 I talked about, right? And then now for you to running, it's real estate or business. By the way, I'm not a realtor. I'm not here to sell you properties. If you have and it's a good deal, feel free to share with me because I am always looking to buy, or I have people within my community. Remember, this community, the goal is that in 10 years, if you are just starting now, so far you can get your income and you have your expenses low, your goal is our goal is you will be a millionaire. It is not me trying to say it. You would follow this principle, and in 2036, put dates to it, you'll be a millionaire. Almost like a guarantee if you follow those principles. I've done it. And if I have to do it again, exactly what I'll do. Okay. So we've talked about the intermediate, right? Which is ETF, simple ETFs. So if you go on Google right now, for people that are new, if you want to go on Google, search where does the wealthy, meaning I'm not going to use wealthy because that's relative. Where does the multi-millionaire, not millionaires, multi-millionaires and billionaires, where do they put their money? Okay. Always trust but verify, right? Trust but verify. Go verify it and come to me, the, you know, and come to me where you find them, where they say they put their money. Okay. You will find that they put it in the working stage. Working stage is intermediate investing, ETFs, right? That's what it is. Or the second thing that you find is real estate. Real estate is the second place that they put their money. Or businesses. They'll say businesses, joint venture, those will not come later. But the first two that you would see is ETF or index funds, or the second thing that you see is real estate, right? That's what you would see. Okay. And we have this, we talked about the whole of last week, but I'm going to go through it. Who wants to talk about real estate? Put in the comments, put one in the comment section if you want to talk about real estate, or you think it's something that you are interested in. Put one in the comment section. Let me know who we are teaching, or because there's some people that are new. Liquid Diamonds, welcome. Mary NK, welcome. Stephanie Gideon, welcome. Put in the comment section if you want to know about it, right? And you might be wondering, if you're new here, you're just meeting me for the first time. I'm Dr. Lina. I'm a doctor of business and technology, not a doctor of medicine. And I do help uh, people, or I do help professional and the paycheck to paycheck cycle through simple investing method, putting structure in place, ensuring that you're investing your money in safe vehicles. Okay. I don't do hypes, I don't do meme, I don't do options, I don't building lasting wealth, talking about having generational wealth, how to restructure educational funds for your kids. All of those things, it's what I talk here. How you can make your money work harder than you do, so that you end the paycheck to paycheck cycle, right? You step off the hamster wheel, right? The goal here in this community is we become a millionaire. I mean, to be get to that millionaire status, bring as many people as possible, because understanding that we were taught to earn, which is what you're doing right now, the income that you're getting, we were taught to earn, but we were not taught to build wealth. two different things. Earning is income, right? Building lasting wealth is through other means. That wasn't taught. Okay, so I am covering the knowledge gap that is within the society, right? And as much as possible, that's why I said let's share the life so that we can have more people here. So as much as possible, I would share my bit and help the society, and let people know that the millionaires are not from another. They're not from another planet. They're just simple people living. It's just that the structure that they have is what helps. Okay. And so I did not get any response about real estate. Nobody wants to talk about real estate today. So we can just end the life. Is that the case? Is that the case? Anybody wants to talk about real estate? Because that is what it's going to get us the journey there, right? That's what is going to help us get there. Anybody wants to talk about this? Stephanie, you want to talk about the Jordan? Is this something that real estate, or we can talk about that another day? Okay. All right, all right. But I would, I'm just still waiting for one more minute and just say, okay, please. Awesome. Okay, please talk about it. All right. Okay, great. Okay. So I'm not going to talk so much, okay, because all right. Except for because it seems that every maybe you would have listened to this before, but I will just talk about it quickly and maybe talk about wholesaler strategy today. Using ad money lender. Maybe that might be beneficial, right? So why do the millionaires invest in real estate? Or why should you invest in real estate? The reason why you invest in real estate is the multimillionaires, they are millionaires, so they know the strategy, and that's the reason why there's something that they know. That's why they're investing there. Okay, right? That's why they're investing there, and you even want to achieve that status as well. You want to put your money where they put their money. Okay, but you also want to get sufficient education to do that. So, and why do the multimillionaires, why do they put money in real estate? They put money in real estate because it's the only asset class. Remember, we talked about IE service account, we talked about simple ETFs and index funds. Those will pay you, some of them maybe you get cash flow at the most, or you get, talk about how to loan from previous property bought. Oh yes, so we can definitely talk about that. Okay, great. How from previous property bought. Perfect. So we can talk about cash out refinance. Okay. So appreciation, cash flow, and of course appreciation, cash flow, equity, which is what you're talking about, Gideon. Um, those are and of course tax benefits. That's you get paid in four ways when it comes to real estate. Four ways. Okay, so I will go straight into it, like what cash out refinance. So when it comes to, you already have a property, right? And you have paid a number of years. Oh, thank you for the roses, Shoe Blaze. Thank you for the roses and welcome in here. You've bought this property and the property now has equity. You know what equity means? Equity means that the number of ownership that you have in this, or the percentage of ownership that you have in this property. Okay. So for instance, the property you bought it, let's say you bought it for 300,000, and now the property is worth 450,000. But then you've also paid, because you've owned it for like 10 years, you've also paid your mortgage or your balance on the property, even though you bought it for 300,000. Now your balance or your mortgage balance is 200,000. It means that you have a $250,000 equity in that property. Okay. Now, what Gideon was saying is, how do you take money out of it? It's called a process called cash out refinance, right? There are two ways. Okay, you can take cash out refinance if you want to. Okay, three ways. One is, okay, if you don't want to keep the property, you can simply sell the property, and of course you're going to be paying capital gain on it, right? When you sell that property. Okay. That's why it's almost like not what I do, right? Because we always keep it, right? The other part of it, that's one. Number two is you do the cash out refinance, right? What does this mean? Now you have 250,000, which is actual money in that property. You're still keeping that property and you're saying that, okay, you know what, bank, I have this 250,000 and the bank is able to give you, I think they could give you up to like 75% in that. 75% is what you can actually is it 75% or 70% is what of equity, that's what you can get. So you can get up to 50% of 250,000, that's 125,000, then 25 25, so you could get up to like 175,000, you know, thereabout. That's what you should be able to get out of that. So now but what's the process? The process is, remember, just the same way that you got the mortgage in the first place, but it's just less restrictive. They'll ask for documentation. They will ask for, can because now it means that your loan is going to go up. Your mortgage is going to increase. That's what it simply means, because you're taking some money out, right? Would your mortgage increase? No, not necessarily. Okay, not necessarily. It's just, yes, it's going to increase, right? It's going to increase. Um, Yeah. So you want to take some money, and someone, if there's anybody, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I've not done cash out refinance in a long time. Okay. So you can, but the only thing is that you can now take this 175,000 and you can go invest it into something else. Now you need to provide documentation to say that, okay, you can take care of this loan, you can all of that, but it's not as stringent as the first time when you took the loan. It's not as crazy. They just get the documentation and you just tell them you want to do cash out finance, and that's it. That's it. They value the property. They're going to do appraisal on the property, right? Because remember, it's when they do the appraisal, they can now confirm that, okay, truly this property is worth 450,000 and it's not 400,000. And then you do the cash out refinance and the process, then you get your money. That's it. It's almost as simple as that, right? It's almost as simple as that. And the third one is equity line of credit. That's the third. So you're not taking with cash out, you're taking the money out, right? You're almost restructuring the loan. But when it comes to ELOC, you have 250,000, right? And you can say that, okay, this 250,000, give me a credit line. All right. So it's almost like a credit card against that your equity, to say, okay, they can give you a credit line up to like, okay, 150,000. It means that you can use that credit, but the only thing is that, of course, you're going to be paying interest on that credit. Okay. Just like a credit card, but at this point, it's a credit line, right? If you don't use it, you don't pay for it. If you use it and you pay it off, that's it. Okay. So, how can you use that? And this is another strategy for you, Stephanie. If how can you leverage that? Remember, we talked about we are buying more properties from, and this is now we're going to advance in depth, right? Now, remember we said we're buying from wholesalers, and that this property might not be at the best, right? It might not be like pristine on MLS, right? And you were asking more question, or somebody asked the question. So does it mean that you have to buy cash, right? Now, what is the and then I said you can use an add money lender at a 11% or at 12%, but then once you fix it within a certain number of days, then you do the refinance, and then once it's over the seasoning period, so the period, there's almost like a 30-day seasoning period with the mortgage company before you can now say that, okay, you know what, I want to refinance and reduce your 11% and keep it to the barest minimum. Instead of you using a hard money lender paying an 11%. Yo, welcome. So basically, what do? If you have not subscribed, consider subscribing, and if you haven't followed, consider following. And thank you all for sharing the live, and thank you for the likes. This is what they said we should do. I'm also learning, right? They said every 5 minutes you're expected to say this. You're expected to say this, right? Because people get locked in, especially when it's something like teaching. People get locked in and they're taking as much and they get to forget about all of that. That's why I'm trying to be a good student as well, reminding everyone, remember to do the sharing and, of course, all of the likes. Let's keep doing that while we're listening and locking it. So instead of you having to use a hard money lender, because you already have a credit line, home equity line of credit from another property. Remember, it's not changing anything. It's just like a credit card against your equity in your current property. Then you cannot get the credit line. You cannot get the credit line and use it to go buy that property that it's not pristine, like they're not looking perfect. Then fix it under that 30 days and then refinance. Does that make sense, sir? Because now you're using the equity that you have in this your property. That's what you're using to finance another one, right? And then you buy it, you fix it. You know, you don't even need anybody. You don't need a private money lender. You're using it. That's the beauty of real estate. You can use it over and over again. And another one, how to build credit. Does that, Stephanie, does that, do you catch that? I want you to also take note of that because there's some things that, until we get to that state, I talk about it. So equity and home equity line of credit is another one that you can actually use. So another one, how to build business credit. Okay. So one of the ways is to build your business credit. It's easy. Do you? By the way, do you have a do you have what's it called? Do you have your business, right? Do you have your LLC? Because it starts with that. Do you have your LLC? Let's start with that because that's the starting point when you are building a business. And if you don't have that, I can tell you the process of that right now, and then we can now talk about how to build the credit, right? And Jordan, okay, so the first thing, and it's easy, right? Just go on at I think Ink File is INC. I think I mentioned that. I think it's now called Legal Zone, but even if you put Ink File, it's going to bring it as Legal Zone. And just go there. I think it costs you maybe $200. I don't know. You put in, they would even give suggestions of names and you just open it. But the only thing is that if you're not ready, don't open it now because you have to file taxes when it comes to the business. You individually, you file the business individually. But it doesn't cost you anything, no harm. It does you actually more good than harm. Whenever you're ready, you can actually, pull the take action, right? So you can get your LLC through that, right? You can do a single man member LLC. You can do partners, whatever. You can do an LLC as an S corp, and you can also use that for your W-2 as well because you can if you're working in the corporate world and especially those that take contracts, instead of doing 1099, you can ask for a corp to corp. What that helps you to do is whatever you say that you're paying yourself, that's what goes into the taxes. So if you earn 150,000 and you say that it's basically 50,000 that you're paying yourself, every other thing is invested in the business. So it is. So your taxes are going to be on 50,000 instead of 150,000. Check with your tax consultant and make sure you use a good tax consultant. So having said that, your question is, how do you build the credit? Now you have already opened the company, you already have the business, and now you have the business. And thank you for all of the taps, the likes, and if you can get that to 5,000 or 10,000, that would be great. So what you need to basically do is once you open the account, go take your account. They'll give you EIN. Take the account and you take it to the bank, right? Take it to the bank. most Chase is a good one, right? Or another one is it Rocket? Is it Rock? What Regions Bank. Another one that I think Ally is also. But just search. But Chase is is a good one when it comes to the business side. Then you go there, open an account with them. Remember, this account that you're opening for business, not you, right? Is business thing. They're going to ask you, the way you provide your social security, you are providing the business social security, which is EIN, right? You get it once you have your business registered. Once you have that EIN, you take that EIN, and then you take the EIN. That's what they would use to open your account. And then this business is an entity on its own, separate from you, right? They can ask for your own social security as one of the owners, as a member, right? They can ask for it, but it doesn't impact your own credit in any way, right? So you have that AIN, and then automatically you just tell them you open an account, and they would even ask you, do you want a credit card for the business? So you get a credit card. You could get up to like 20,000, 30,000, 50,000 line of credit card. Some people get even up to 150 in multiple places. That's money, right? If you want to even buy, that's money. So that's another way to finance, whatever, financing real estate as well. So once you have that, you use your card just like your normal credit for business expense. You can, maybe you use it to buy gas. You buy, and that's how it grows. Use it, pay it back. Use it, pay within the billing cycle. Use it for, there's no restriction. Just use it. In the easy one that I always say is like gas, right? Because of course you can say the gas is for business. You can use it for travel. Because if you're saying that the business is you're going for a business meeting, and then you're paying it back within the billing cycle, and and then you can check credit your business credit on Dom and Bradstreet. So just like we have Credit Karma, there's also Dom and Bradstreet is the one that where you can check the credit for your business. Yeah, so that's how it works. That's how it works. Does that answer your question? Does that answer your question? So that's how you build your credit on the business side. Yeah, yeah. Awesome, awesome, great. Any other question? Any other question? Any other question? Great, 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 great. And thank you all for for sharing the likes, and thank you for the likes. So, Stephanie, have you had a chance to check the what's it called? All we talked about yesterday. Did you check your because we want to if you are available, by the way, because I know we're at work and all of that, you might be in meetings. In terms of the questions that you have about wholesalers, yes, okay. Okay, so did you see Eddie? Or do you want to come up, right? Do you want to come up? Or if both of you want to come up, just send a request, and then we can talk it quickly. If you guys want to, if you have any questions or you want to talk about it. Okay, awesome. Hi, Stephanie. Hey, Tammy, welcome. Okay. Hey, Stephanie, how are you? Now I can hear you.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. Awesome. So tell me about it. Thank you for the daily at Tammy store. Okay, so what did we find? What did you find when you checked it? Like, did you find like properties, you know?
Yeah, I did. I saw a lot of properties, but like the price is yeah, some of them the prices are high, right, on the high end, and some of them need like a major repair. Like I saw one that like it's like the whole house was burnt down.
Uh-uh.
So yeah, that one it was like really, really,